Don't wait until the weather turns to replace your windows. This month, Window Nation is offering 50%. You heard me right, half off on all window styles. And their installation crews finish the job in a day or less, so you can get your new windows, then enjoy the rest of the summer safe in the knowledge that they've been inspected again and again to keep your home comfortable year round. But y'all, this sale ends very soon. Schedule a fast free estimate now with Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or head to windownation.com. Okay, so Simone, you and I both had the chance to see Dungeons & Dragons, the 20-sided tavern at Broadway Playhouse at Water Tower Place. And for me personally, it was unlike anything I have experienced in a Chicago theater. What did you think?
Oh my God, I loved it. The show changes every time. So kind of makes me want to go see it again.
That's exactly how I felt leaving.
What happens?
Again, even if you've never played the game, it's just like a really interactive fantasy play because of how much you're able to use your phone, interact with the choices that are taking place.
There will be plenty to see between now until the show closes September 28th. Jacoby, where can people get tickets?
Get your tickets now at BroadwayInChicago.com. Today on CityCast Chicago, maybe y'all know Steve Dolinsky from his early days at the Trib, or maybe from his nearly 20-year run as the Hungry Hound on ABC 7, or most recently as the food guy with NBC. Either way, you know he knows Chicago food. And with his Pizza City Fest back this weekend, after taking last year off, you know we had to talk to him about it. It's Wednesday, August 20th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. Steve Dolinsky, welcome to CityCast Chicago.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Let's start with a very basic question. I know at Pizza City Fest this weekend, y'all have a panel about essentially what is the real Chicago pizza. So I'm going to ask you, deep dish or tavern style, what you going with, Steve? What do you think is the ultimate Chicago pizza?
Boy, it's hard to say there is just one, Kobe, because I really feel like when you say Chicago style, you need to clarify, from where you're coming from. Are you from the far south side, where the Pope's favorite pizza at Aurelio's, or the far north suburbs of Barnaby's? Are you from Lincolnwood, where the Lou Malnati's was born? Are you from, it's like the Chicago is all about where you're from. I have a term in my book called PIGUE syndrome, P-I-G-U-E. It's pizza I grew up eating syndrome. And people in Chicago are fiercely loyal to their neighborhood pizza, right? So
Italian Fiesta is probably, if you had to stick me to the fire, that's the one. I don't know if it's the tastiest. I don't know if it's the best, but my favorite, without a doubt.
And that's either 71st or 46th Street, probably, right?
Come on, or over off 81st and Halsted.
Okay, exactly. So again, that neighborhood, that's their pizza. That's what Michelle Robinson grew up eating, right? When she got good grades, she got to go to Italian Fiesta because of the South Side pizza. So when you say, what is Chicago style pizza, that's what we're going to try to answer on Sunday, August 24th. Is we have the experts from Home Run Inn, from Bartoli's, from La Briola. What do they think Chicago style is? I think it's all of the above. You can't just say it's one.
Pizza City Fest will explore all of these styles over 3 days, featuring a variety of local pizza makers. The lineup switches from day to day, as I realized. You may find somebody only on Friday who isn't there the next couple of days. But before we jump into this year's lineup, the last time you put on the fest in Chicago, 2023, let's just keep it real. That first day, very difficult. Long lines, electrical problems. That was 2 years ago. What has changed going into this year's fest?
I'm glad you brought that up because this is our redemption tour. And I've told people this is the third time is the charm or the end. Because if we can't pull it off this year, we're never going to pull it off. You're right. We had a generator that was wired incorrectly. The power company did not read the emails saying it was 3-phase power required for the ovens. And so they rewired one oven, which had 5 ovens down because of one generator had to be rewired. We had just insufficient staff at the door to get people through the door quickly. The salt shed was too tight of a space. We didn't realize that when you put in 10 big commercial ovens plus activations plus bars, the space gets small really quickly. So we learned a ton of lessons. And so what is different this year? Pretty much everything. Different venue, different production company, different format, 2 different ticket tiers, different time of day. I mean, everything is different. 14 pizzerias a day, not 20. An unlimited ticket as well as an a la carte ticket. We learned so many things the hard way. In my defense, I will say day 2 last time was great. People who came on Sunday of 2023 had a great time. But yeah, day 1 was rough and we learned the hard way. And I honestly never, ever want to go through that again, where I'm processing refunds for 400 people the next 2 weeks. So it's not going to happen again. We've got it under control.
It looks like the price is also lower from a 95 general admission to you've got about 37 on day of, like on a single day, 78 for a 3-day GA. Pretty good ticket prices. I know when my partner and her family went back in 2022, they absolutely loved it. She just describes it to this day as like a parking lot where all you can eat pizza. It was hot as hell outside, but we had a good time.
I want it to be something for everybody. And when we did the $95 ticket 2 years ago, that was everything included drinks and food. But we realized, unlike LA, we did an event in LA 3 years in a row. We do a $125 ticket, unlimited food and drink. A $95 ticket does not work in Chicago. We listened to feedback. Some people said, I'm happy to spend $125, all you can eat. I don't have to worry about it. Other people said, I want to just pay as I go. And that, again, we're having live bands every day. We got to pay the bands. We're having enormous commercial ovens. We are shipping in on 2 semis from Washington, D.C., these Mara Fornis. Everything, it just costs a lot of money to do these events. You've seen events around Chicago fold, say that we just can't do it anymore because you can't rely on people to do a voluntary donation if it's on the public way, and you can't hope that you just get enough sponsorship. So we've had to raise money for sponsorships. We had to charge a ticket price, but we feel like you're getting good value because, again, we are bringing 14 different pizzerias to you in one space that Frank, who's going to drive to Cary, Illinois and Downers Grove and New Lenox and Woodlawn
Archer Heights and
Archer Heights and Garfield Ridge and on and on. We bring them all together. So yeah, to your point, it's a different lineup every day, but if you bought a 2-day pass, you would see at least 25, 26 different pizzerias.
So if you want the a la carte option, the ticket is cheaper this year. But if you want that unlimited sort of VIP ticket, you have that option as well.
Yep, you've got both options. And I will say, if you are buying as you go, we also are offering 2 prices. So $8 for a full slice and $4 for a half slice, which is typically what we're going to give the all-you-can-eat people.
430 North Rush Street. What is that? Are you guys back to the rocking out the parking lot vibes?
It's a big parking lot. Yep, it's all we could really afford because we're resetting everything. It's where Windy City Smokeout started. It's where the Shaw's Oyster Fest started. I feel like it's got some good karma.
Got some good juju there.
I like where it is.
All right, so I want to name a couple qualities. I want you to think if they apply to you, and just maybe I might got your next career move. Ready? I bet. Do you have a passion for people? You're excited to help others and you got great customer service skills. Do you crave flexibility, right? You want to be in charge of your own schedule and chart your own course. Do you got that hustle in you, right? Are you ready to turn that drive into something meaningful? All right, if you answer yes, then hey, real estate might be your next big move. Realtors help people make one of the biggest decisions of their lives, buying or selling a home, and no 2 days are the same. It's a chance to grow a business, make an impact, and build the lifestyle you're working towards. Visit realtorsrealestateschool.com to set up a free career consultation. Remember that amazing little cafe you went to last summer? The one with the perfect breakfast sandwich and them delicious smoothies? Or what about that hiking spot or that biking trail your friend told you about, but for some reason you can't remember the name? Well, with Overlook Maps, special places never get lost again, my friends. Create personal lists of places you've been and want to go. Hey, share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family. Let them discover that nail salon, that barbecue spot, that row of thrift shops that you've been trying to gatekeep. Or you know what, hey, if you want, keep your secret spots completely private. But what about this? Maybe you're planning a trip with friends. You can create a share list where everyone can add their ideas. Maybe you visited a new city. You can check out lists from locals who already know the best spots that you should pull up on. And here's a key part. No ads cluttering your list. No one selling your data to advertisers. Just your personal collection of amazing places organized exactly how you want them. Overlook Maps. Collect, organize, and share the places that matter to you. Download free at overlookmaps.com. And you want a little bonus? Go to overlookmaps.com/Chicago to see some of our lists and great spots on a map and in your pocket. Your places, your way. You mentioned that you've hosted this festival in LA, Nashville. What makes having it here different? I know this is, where you built your career, but just from a pizza culture standpoint, what makes Chicago's festivals different than those other cities? And have you learned anything from those other ones that you've brought back here?
The thing that's different here is people are just a little bit, they're in their own bubbles a little bit. Like they don't, how do I explain this nicely? Like it's sort of like the same thing in LA. Like people on the West Side don't like to drive to the East Side and vice versa. And I feel like in Chicago, like people on the North Side have never been to Woodlawn. They're not going to 61st Street. And I really want them to see Lynn's Chicago Pizza. They're going to do an oxtail Chicago themed pizza, which does not exist on the north side of the city. I think it's important to bring the suburbs in. I just feel like Chicagoans are either city or suburbs, and neither the twain shall meet. Quick anecdote. So in LA, we did 2 years of events, and then they had the Palisades fire, and the pizza community got together and did this recovery effort for first responders to feed everybody. And they said in the newspaper that I saw this quote, we wouldn't have known everybody in the business had it not been for Pizza City Fest, because they met everybody and they got everybody's phone number. And I want that to happen here. We also do it. Obviously, education's a part of it. We talked about the What is Chicago Pizza panel. We have a class, how to make great pizza at home. We also make a big donation every year. So Donate Pizza, that's DOUGH, Donate Pizza is our charitable partner this year. So it's education, it's donation, but it's also highlighting and illuminating and kind of shining a light on these little guys. There's a guy in New Lenox, at Pizza di Farfalla, you probably haven't heard of, but I want people to know this guy Giovanni's name because he's really making great pizza.
No disrespect to anybody on the list, but what's your can't miss slice?
Well, I would just say you have to go on Sunday to My Pie because it is literally the last time ever you'll get to taste my favorite deep dish pizza. They're coming out of retirement for one day. I mentioned the oxtail from Woodlawn. That's an interesting one whenever Lynn's is going to be there. If you haven't had Roman style pizza, the Roman al taglio style, Bonci is a unique pizza to try, as well as Capriccio in Lincoln Square, because that style is not prevalent in Chicagoland. And so I want you to see that extra long fermentation, what that looks like and what that tastes like. And those are pretty special.
I mean, back in 2018, your first book, Pizza City USA, 101 Reasons Why Chicago is America's Greatest Pizza Town, was pretty, declarative in its title and what you were claiming about the city. In the years since, you've spread your wings around the country a little more. You've thrown Pizza City Fest in other places. Do you still believe Chicago is America's greatest pizza town?
Ooh.
That wasn't an immediate yes, so I feel like we need to talk.
Well, here's the thing. 2 years ago, I would have said without a doubt. And the reasoning being because we have a deep bench. We're not, New York has way more pizzerias, of course. New Haven has way more history, of course. But New Haven is a one-trick pony. They have one style of pizza at 5 pizzerias. To me, that's not a great pizza town. New York City, on the other hand, has hundreds of pizzas, probably dozens of good ones, and there are really only 3 styles, right? Slices, squares, grandma, and probably Neapolitan. But Chicago has all the above, plus stuffed and deep pan and deep dish and tavern and Detroit and Roman and Sicilian and Italian bakery. And there are so many styles of pizza here. That's what makes us a great pizza town. Now, that said, I've been to LA a lot the last couple of years, and the explosion in growth and creativity there is much more exciting than what's going on in Chicago. It's a second largest city in America, right? So we're talking an enormous area, twice as large as Chicagoland for sure. And you can drive an hour and a half and have great pizzas all along the way, and not just one style. And what I I really like about LA is the collaborative spirit they have there. There's a little bit of it here, but like there, great example is a place called Jitlada Thai Food, collaborated with Prime Pizza in LA. They do a New York style pizza, and they did a Thai curry pizza. Or a guy in Long Beach from Speak Cheesy collaborating with a food writer and doing Cambodian style pizza. I mean, that doesn't happen here.
Novel Pizza just did a collab where they dropped a Jollof pizza, like a Nigerian style, earlier this summer. Middlebrow has been.
I would say Middlebrow and Novel are definitely part of that third wave of part of the collaborative spirit that I think they're seeing on the West Coast, which I want to see more of in Chicago. That I think is like a hallmark of a great pizza city.
Okay. So right now, so what you're really saying is the excitement for the growth of their kind of pizza community is in LA right now, but still pizza for pizza, knuckle for knuckle, bar for bar. Come on, LA not competing with Chicago pizza.
No. And you know why? Because there's only 2 places in that entire city that do tavern style Chicago thin, and they only do it like 1 day a week. And so to not have that style of pizza in your city, I think is something's lost, Achilles heel.
So their scene has something to explore right now, but the idea of like their signature LA pizza style, like could compete with ours. That's where it's not even a competition.
No. We're still a deeper bench, I think, overall.
I don't get to talk to you every day, so I have to ask you some non-pizza related questions as well. You know, what do you think is Chicago's most underrated iconic food?
Probably shrimp de Dijon. Something that nobody knows about. Started, I think, at the Palmer House back in the 1920s. It's basically shrimp in a buttload of garlic and butter with breadcrumbs and usually bread on the side to dip. And nobody really knows shrimp de Dijon started in Chicago. So I would say that's probably the most underrated, underknown. But also, I think Italian beef. I know The Bear has talked a lot about it, although very few episodes of The Bear in the scheme of things are about Italian beef sandwiches. It's sort of a background character. And I think people talk about pizza a lot more than beef, but beef is really the quintessential Chicago born and bred creation. I mean, pizza didn't come from Chicago, right? There are styles that were sort of originated here, but pizza is not a Chicago creation. Italian beef sandwiches are a Chicago creation, much as po' boys are from New Orleans, much as she crab soup is from the Carolinas. I feel like Cioppino from San Francisco. I just feel like you got to have an Italian beef sandwich, and you got to go to Johnny's in Elmwood Park when you do that.
Mm-hmm. I just passed the Johnny's not too long ago. Shout out to David Hammond wrote a chapter on shrimp Dijon in him and Monica Ang's book about the 30 hometown bites made in Chicago. And that is one that doesn't come up often. The beef, though, interestingly enough, it sounds like you're not saying it's underrated at large, but in comparison to maybe that Chicago dog or the Chicago pizza conversation, it still doesn't get the love it deserves in your eyes.
Yeah, because again, hot dogs, yes, we've perfected them, but I just feel like it's not as special as a properly done Italian beef. And whenever I've got out of towners, I always take them for a beef.
Now I feel that even though it isn't the exact thing, a sweet steak, pretty much same in the sense that it's a pile of meat. That's my go-to, but it is essentially, again, a sandwich with a whole bunch of beef on it.
I do like a sweet steak too. That is actually, the Taurus Flavors created that, right? And that's, I did a story on it right before I retired, and I placed in Country Club Hills. Outstanding, because it's kind of like a Philly cheesesteak meets a sloppy Joe meets an Italian beef.
Yep, 100%. Our Hey Chicago newsletter editor is a Chicago hot dog evangelist and also the person responsible for helping us get this interview. Shout out to Emmy Mack. She wants to know, what is your favorite Chicago hot dog stand?
Well, the thing about the dog stands, there's more variety in kind of the what you call the accoutrement, the surroundings, the vibe, as opposed to the dog, because 98% of the hot dogs come from Vienna beef, because that's the Chicago legend, and then a lot of the condiments are not made in house. So to me, it's more about the experience, and I would say Superdog is my go-to. Again, whenever food writers come to town, I take them to Superdog up on Milwaukee Avenue to get the pickled green tomato as opposed to the red tomato slice, which, as we all know in Chicago, red tomatoes are only in season about a couple months a year. So they went with the pickled green tomato many years ago. And I also like the hand-cut, the crinkle fries, which I think are unique and interesting. And their dog is not a Vienna beef. It's made by a different purveyor, and it's slightly thicker, a little bit larger than the other one. So I like the Superdog experience, I think, for my hot dog.
Our executive producer, Simone Ali Sayed, told me she literally just had the green tomato at Superdog for the first time, and she's a total convert. It has moved up her list.
I'm going to give you a little pro tip when you go to Superdog. You can get a Superdog, of course, you got to check that box, but the Whoopski dog is Polish sausage with the barbecue sauce, the caramelized onions in that onion roll, which is really unique. And I get a pineapple shake. Trust me.
Hey, we got this on tape. I don't even need to write it down. I'm gonna just replay what you just said and get it when I go in. My final question to you: we've obviously talked beefs, hot dogs, pizza was the thing that brought us to this conversation. What would you say is the ultimate Chicago food? When we ran the bracket, Tavern Style Pizza won out. When our listeners and readers ran through the bracket, the hot dog won, the beef wins on some people's list. What is your number one Chicago's most iconic food?
Italian beef. Yeah, it's a kind of maybe a toss up between the Chicago thin pizza and the Italian beef, but I would give it to Italian beef because I said earlier, that was born and bred here by the Italian immigrants in the 1920s, serving it at their peanut weddings, a cheap way to extend beef, which they couldn't afford. Slice it thin with the gravy and the jus and the peppers that were abundant and the bread that was easy to find. Even if it was a day old, you could soak it up with the jus. So that is such a Chicago experience, I think. And that is Chicago on a plate for sure.
Steve Dolinsky is a Chicago food legend, and we are grateful for you making time for CityCast Chicago.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Before we get out of here, make sure you bookmark our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you can catch up on old podcast episodes, subscribe to become a CityCast Chicago neighbor. That's our membership program. You can also sign up for our Hey Chicago newsletter. While you're there, head over to our events calendar where today's good news can be found. You have no shortage of Food Fest this weekend to pick from. Not only Pizza City Fest, you got Taste of Greektown, Lakeview Taco Fest, Sangria Fest in Humboldt Park, Eats Con at the Salt Shed, and so many more. And we've got all of those listed for you in our events calendar at chicago.citycast.fm. I'm going to get up out of here for now, but I'm going to be back bright and early in the morning. I'm going to talk to you then, or, whenever you listen. Peace.